your mouth better run as quick as your hands. You know what I'm saying? Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hi, my name is Alexisjayda and welcome. Today's notification shout out goes to Dodger Chick 562. Thank you so much for all your love and support and your donation. Thank you so freaking much. I greatly appreciate it. Your comment means so much to me. Thank you. And thank you so much to everyone who did donate, who likes the videos, who comments, shows me love. I seriously appreciate it so freaking much. I love you guys with all my heart. If you guys want to be part of the notification squad, all you have to do is like the video, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below. And your comment can possibly be the next notification shout out. My husband went and checked my PO box, and I have other packages I need to get through that Fam Bam sent me. But babe opened this one because he thought it was for him. And Fam Bam sent me this. Mira que bonita. I freaking love it. That's freaking cute. And she sent me a really nice letter. Thank you so much. I love you so much. And I really appreciate it. Thank you. Like, mira que bonita. Oh, look at that. That's freaking cute. I like that. All right, y'all. Let's just sit back, relax, and let's get into the story time. Let me know what you guys are doing, what you guys are watching, if you guys are cooking, if you guys are cleaning, if you guys are at your work. Let me know down below. I would love to know. It smells really warm. I have to turn off the heater because it is super duper loud and I hate hearing it when I edit. Like, it's so annoying. So my toes go cold for a little bit. Blink, that's okay. So let's just jump right back into the story time. I left you guys on a good cliffhanger. A lot of you guys were like, oh, bitch, how could you? And I'm just sitting there freaking like, just kidding. No, I feel like I could just talk forever and I'm like, I need to know when to stop because girl, I could talk forever. Like if I don't got no responsibilities. So I get left with this huge bomb of Sam being preggers, and I literally am like, I am just dumbfounded. Okay, I go to the room and I am just quiet like a mouse. I can't even go to sleep. Any energy that I had times 100 because I am literally like, no way. So now I know, okay, they probably have homegirl hostage and have her cell phone. That's how they know I'm texting. Because if she had her phone, I'm pretty sure she would have messaged by now. I'm pretty sure she would have been like, hey, I'm good. Because even though me and her did not get along half of the time, we would communicate even if it was like mean, you know? Like, what do you want? Why are you messaging me? You know, that kind of stuff. You're running up my minutes. Who can it be? And I don't want to be too obvious either and like hit up everybody and be like, congratulations, you're gonna be a daddy. Number two, I don't want any drama with the peaches. Like, I don't want them to be like, bitch, you're next, you're gonna go missing. Because no. Okay, no. But I feel like I have to tell somebody because it's chisme. I'm young. I'm like, what the hell? And this whole time I'm pissed because I can't call on my homie and be like, hey, guess what's up? Skillet, guess what? She's pregnant, bitch. She's pregnant. Like, I can't do that because our relationship is ruined. It's ruined, and so much other drama came from that. Just don't want to even go to. Just know I was dealing with a lot, okay? I was dealing with a lot because I was dealing with a lot. Like, there was so much going on. So much to process, and at the end of the day, I just had to tell myself, it is not your business, period. It is not. It's not. Even though I wanted it to be so bad, I was like, ah. Eventually, I think just from freaking talking myself and like talking to my conscience, like, girl, isn't that crazy? Yeah, she definitely is locked up and knocked up. Like, I was just, which isn't that funny because like Lex, YouTube bitch, but anyways, I digress. I was like, wow. Okay, I don't know why. I just want to rap. I don't know. I was just crazy. I ended up knocking out because all the adrenaline got me going. I was just like, oh my god. I woke up and all I remember is wanting to just keep eyeing Mrs. Peach, like, just to with her, because I could not stand that bitch. I was just, wow. And I wanted to reconnect with Baltimore. Why? Because I had no life, okay? I had no life. I was bored, and I was so used to things being so chaotic that when things were trying to be normal, I was like, we gotta stir it up, gotta stir it up, gotta stir it up. And I freaking hated that. I didn't really start recognizing that until like a little later, but I would like, it felt so weird, you know? When things were just too good, I was like, but why? Why? And it's okay. It's just really hard when you grow up with like a lot of craziness that when you have normal days, it's kind of like, why? Why? And it's completely normal. So I make my way downstairs, getting things like ready, like normal cleaning. I just go right back to my routine, and I have to constantly keep telling myself, don't ask about Sam. Act like you don't know about Sam. Just play stupid. Alexis, don't. Alexis, don't. Like, it was just, I feel like I had like such a huge secret, and I just wanted to scream it on the top of the world, because I was like, if these bitches knew like if I was pregnant, they would be hooting and hollering to everybody. But I had to stop doing that too, because it wasn't good. It's not good to be like, if it was me though, like, no, stop. But it was crazy. So as the day goes on, it is like everybody is trying to avoid each other. Anytime I was in the room with like Mr. Peach or Mrs. Peach, it was like leaving the room. I think because they probably talked and they were like, yeah, I told her. And I feel like they were just trying to avoid me, because they didn't want me to start with my questions because of me asking about Baltimore and me asking about Sam. They were probably like, and when I would ask the babies, they would just be like, oh, I don't know. How are these babies gonna know? Like, they knew chisme, but I feel like they kind of knew too, like what to talk about and what not to talk about, just because they was just smart, you know? They were just like, oh no, we're not gonna talk about, you know, we're not gonna talk about that. And I didn't like to put them in uncomfortable situations either. So when I would ask them and they would just kind of hit me with, I don't know, kind of like, I don't know, you know, I didn't want to make them feel uncomfortable. And so I just left it at that. I was like, you know what, I'll figure it out, because y'all are doing what I should be doing, which is minding my business. And I respect that, but I'm not gonna be like that. So I was just like, honestly, just like with the kids, and I just kept like having my moments of like thinking, and then I would have to be like, Lex, it doesn't matter, just continue to do you, and stay focused on what you're supposed to. Stay focused. So that day was super boring to stay focused. It honestly was. Joe was trying to like write me here and there and spark up a conversation, but I was just super dry with him. Super dry. Because I was like low-key mad in my head of like, I bet you anything him and that girl did something. And I just felt it, you know, I just felt it. I was like, And I didn't want to let him back in my life, because I knew that Joe came with a lot of drama, like a lot of drama. Like, there's so much that I don't even put in the story times, but just know that this boy came with a lot of drama. Like, anytime we would like try to like be cool with each other, it came with so much drama from like girls messaging, girls writing me on MySpace, and it was just like, it was just so toxic. Like, and it was just too much, and I just knew like I wasn't built for that kind. Like, I was used to like this kind of toxic, but I wasn't built for like the riches kind of toxic. And it was just like mean girl energy, and I felt so fat that like these mean girls, like they knew where they were pretty, and they would constantly like keep with my insecurities, like, oh, her nose, the munches on my skin, like the markings that I had on my skin and stuff, and that I was just like an orphan. Like, they hit me low, you know. And these girls did not like to like tussle, okay, because I was always like, bitch, meet me out there. How ghetto, like that kind. I'd be like, bitch, you. Like, I'm so used to like, if you're gonna talk it, your mouth better run as quick as your hands, you know what I'm saying? But they weren't about that. They'd be like, I'm gonna call the cops. So it was always like, because they weren't about that life. They're about the fucking life, but they weren't about like, where your hands at, bitch. They weren't about that life. So yeah, I didn't like his little friends, because they would literally just like want to talk smack. And anytime I would like confront them, if I would ever see like them in person or anything like that, it was just like, what? Okay, and like, and it was just so weird. Okay, it was just like, all right, I'm gonna just go over there. Not worth it. Okay, and no, it was just stupid. Because what are we fighting for Joe? Like, he probably telling us all the same thing. Okay, and it's not worth it. And then him all freaking happy también, just sitting back watching. Like, are you stupid? Are you dumb? Like, go over there. Go over there right now. This wasn't, and I just didn't want to, like, I liked the attention he would give me and stuff, but I didn't want to rekindle it and like play into that again, because even at a young age, I was just already so exhausted. Like, I was just like, I just want to have a good life. I constantly felt like I was just like on survival mode all the time, and I just didn't want to constantly feel like I had to keep doing it. And I didn't want to try a new cycle. And honestly, it kind of like screwed with me, especially like the riches, because they were just so different with like their words, and it was just too much. And I just didn't want to. I didn't want to, and it just honestly wasn't worth it, because how they saw me and how I saw them, it was never going to. And yeah, Little Lex just wasn't like built for that type of talking. Anyways, so Joe was still trying to talk here and there, and he was just wanting the chisme on Sam too. Like, well, if you find out what happened, like, let me know. That's so crazy. Blah blah blah. And I was like, I know, right? And then when he would want to talk about anything, like, so when are we gonna meet up? I'd be like, boy, bye so hard right now, because I didn't want to deal with it, and I already knew that him and Jasmine probably hooked up, because that's just what it was. And then you know what's so crazy? You probably think like, how are they hooked up? It's just a party with like adults. I'm literally telling you right now, keep an eye on your kids, okay? Keep an eye on your kids. There's so much stuff that I did out in the open where you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. What? There's so much that like when I was hanging out with my friends that they would do out in the open, and like the parents were right there, where you'd be like, okay, we grew up too quick and did too much too soon, too grown, that I am like, that is crazy. So just know, if he wanted to, he would, and he probably did at the party, okay? And I just didn't want to deal with it. Like, I was just like, he's a walking infection, and I just need to stay away and stop falling into it constantly, because he does not care about catching anything. Like, he's tripping. He is tripping. So, me and the kids have a pretty calm, chill day, and there's nothing to it. We go to the store, we have fun, and I kind of just forget about Sam a little bit, because I'm like, this is how it should be. No drama, no nothing. It's chill, and things are just pretty calm. My mom's fighting with me here and there, but honestly, it gets to the point where like I even know that the only reason why mom probably like messages me half the time is because she's bored, and she's probably talking about me to her friends, and they're probably like, you got a kid? Where's your kid at? And she's probably like, oh my god, let me go fight with her right now and tell her I need to go pick her up, and then just stress her the out, and then don't even show up. Yeah, that's fine. And that's just how it was. Like, even when my mom would stress out and she would like come pick me up, I would get dropped off later, because we just butt heads way too much, and it was just too stressful, and my mom was going through it with her own demons, and I was just too much of a reminder. So she would try in the sense of like, okay, I'm gonna go pick her up, I'm gonna play house for a little bit. But my mom loved being out in the calle. My mom honestly did. Like, my mom loved being out in the street and not have any responsibilities with her kids, because she was just constantly running away from something, and we were constantly chasing her. And it was just a nasty, nasty cycle until I was old enough to like provide for my siblings, and we stopped chasing. And then we kind of just realized, like, that's just what she wants. That's all fine and dandy. Just stay over there, mother. Stay over there. And then now we're just trying to find a new, I guess, of like how we are. So the day literally continues, and we are just, it's boring, okay? It's boring because it's normal, because there's no like drama, no nothing. It's boring because it's normal, and that's okay. That's fine. That's all right. So Mrs. Peach and I are sitting on the couch and we are doing the socks for the kids, and she randomly is like, oh, I forgot something. I had to go do this. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm not thinking like she's inviting me or something. It's just like, oh, I forgot something, you know? So I'm like, oh, okay. Cause like, I'm not thinking she's inviting me. And she's like, hurry, put your shoes on. I need you to go with me. And I'm like, oh, okay, where are we going? And she's like, don't ask me any questions, Alexis. Just like, hurry, get your shoes on. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm getting my shoes on. Mr. Peach comes downstairs and he's like, where are you guys going? And she's like, I forgot that I had to go pick up something. Do you need anything while I'm out? He's like, nope. And me and her go on our merry way. We get in the car and I ask her like, oh, where are we going? And she's like, Alexis, that's your problem. You ask so many questions. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Because I don't know how to act with this woman sometimes. I feel like there's sometimes where she can be kind of sweet. And then there's sometimes where I'm like, she's just weird. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of times where she has acted really like, okay, normal, you know, and me where I was so like conditioned to like abuse, like normalizing it. I was just like, Jade, that's just normal. That's just, she was just acting normal, or that's not right, but because she's not being hateful. You know what I mean? It was just weird. I wish I could just go back and just change some things. So anyways, we go to the store and we're going to the aisle that has like pads and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe she like started her monthly. She picks up a freaking pregnancy test, and I just like look at her, she looks at me, and I just like, I'm minding my business. I am minding my business hard because it ain't got nothing to do with me. And she just tells me to like, don't tell anybody. Okay, first of all, why did you have to bring me? You did not have to bring me. You just like the drama too, and that's okay. But don't act like, oh, what? Yo? No. Yo? Yes. You bitch. So I tell her if I can go and look at the clothes and stuff, and she's like, for what? You don't even have money. And I am kind of like, don't remind me. I know. And I just laugh. I'm like, I know. No más quiero ver. Like, I just want to see. And she's like, okay, I'll meet you in the front. Okay, cool. So go and look at the clothes. I always like to window shop. Like, that was my jam. Like, when me and my friends would go to the store, that was my jam. Like, I loved to window shop like no one's business. Like, that was my thing. And I would tell myself, when I get bigger, when I get money, girl, it is over. We are going to get everything we want. Even if we like don't need it, we're gonna get it. So I literally was sitting there for a good minute looking at clothes that probably I'd never see again, but I had plans for them, okay? I would like to look at the freaking underwear, because I never bought like me like cute underwear. Maybe like once in a blue moon, okay? But I never bought me like cute underwear until I was like grown. And I wanted to show off my chonies, okay? So anyways, I guess I was window shopping a little too hard because I hear someone call my name all kinds of ugly, and it's Mrs. Peach, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm over there waiting for you. You see you go overboard. And I'm like, oh my God. I start to laugh because like I feel like uncomfortable, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I did go overboard, you know? And she's like, ¿Por qué te ríes? Like, she's like, why are you laughing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Because like honestly, it wasn't like that deep, but I could see how that'd be annoying. Like, she over here probably thinking like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And then I'm over here like laughing in her face, like not giving two f***s because I got none to give, bitch. So she's like pissed off at me, tells me just to go wait in the car. I thought like, okay, she probably already went and paid and stuff like that, and she's still waiting on me. No. So she tells me to go wait in the car, and I walk so slow because I was like, no, I'm not gonna go wait in the car by myself. It's freaking dark out. I'm freaking scared, which stupid Lex, because there'd be so many times I'd be walking by myself in the dark anyways. I don't know. I guess my brain wanted to pick and choose when I would be terrified of walking in the dark. It makes no sense. I know. I don't know. Okay? Because when I would get yelled at, like, oh yeah, you're scared this time, but what about the other times? I don't know. I don't know. I talked to my therapist and we try to like, you know, I don't know. I don't know why my brain was pick and choose. Sorry about that. So I'm walking super slow, and by the time I get to the car, she's like right behind me, and she's pissed off because I didn't turn on the car and have it running already for her. And she's like, she just feels like I just do these things on purpose to get under her skin, and no wonder why my mom doesn't even want to be around me half the time. And I'm like, that was rude. And she tells me, I don't give a f you think is rude. And I'm just like, damn, bitch, okay. And I'm just like mad. Like, I'm just mad because like I want to hurt her back, because who the f do you think you are to talk like that? Like, f you, you stupid bitch. Like, I remember just being so like, ew, like what is wrong with you? And then I was mad at myself because Lex, you are getting too comfortable with people who are not even your blood. So what is wrong with you? And yeah, so I was constantly like fighting in my head, like, Lex, you know better. What the f are you doing? So the ride back home was super awkward, and she was pissed. She kept telling me like, oh, you just ruined it. You just ruined it. Bipolar as okay, because it was just like, really, like I don't feel like I took that long. And I always try to see it from like her point of view, where I'm like, maybe I did ruin like the little thingy. I don't know, she's stressed. I don't know. I just feel like she didn't have to be at a freaking 10. And I feel like she was so used to talking like that. And it wasn't just Miss Peach that would freaking respond like that. Like the ex's mom was like the same way, where it was just like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then God forbid if you like shuffle your feet, because bitch, who do you think you are? So the ride home was so stupid long, where I was just like wanting to jump out of the car. Like I felt like she was purposely going slow on purpose just to have me thinking about my actions, because I honestly feel like she was a twisted bitch like that, because that's just how it was. That's just, I honestly feel like she was just a freaking bully, and she probably got bullied by her mom or people in her life. And I feel like that's why she was so evil, because she was probably like, my turn. And it honestly felt like that. Like it honestly felt like she was sick like that. So we stop at a gas station, and I act like I'm gonna get out because I wanted to. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get off with you. And she's like, did I ask you? And I'm like, no. She's like, okay then, stay in the car. Okay, you bitch. So I just stay in the car, and I start to message the ex. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, now you want to message me? And I had to do a lot of ass kissing to bypass, like to get past that, because that's just how he was. And he had anger issues of his own. So I knew how to like sometimes what to say to him and how much butt to kiss, but it was just toxic. And I was like, oh my god, I want some type of like love, even if it's toxic love, because she was being mean. And I just felt like all over the place. Like, and I felt like I couldn't just deal with one thing at a time. Like it was so weird. I don't know why. Like it felt like, okay, if this person's being mean to me, I have to like go to another toxic person and kind of figure out like how to move forward. I don't know why I would do that. Super weird. She comes back out, and she has in the bag, she has some cigarettes, and she has a beer. She has 2 beers. And the reason why I know is because when she was pumping gas, I kind of did a little and like looked a little bit, and then I got yelled at because she told me like, stop being so nosy. Thought, why am I always so fucking nosy? And that the pregnancy test was even for her. And I was like, okay. Because like, it was just like so weird, where I'm like, why am I even here? Like, why couldn't you come alone? Like, I don't understand. It's like they wanted me to be around, but they didn't want me to be around. It was always so confusing. So before we get home, she tells me that she wants me to go straight upstairs and just to call it a night. I felt super weird. I don't know why I would always get like this when they would try to discipline me. I always felt like, bitch, I can leave. Like I always felt like I went into like, they're going to kidnap me. Like I don't know why. I always got like a sense of like they're kidnapping me. And it was just so weird. Like it honestly like kicked off my like fight or flight. And I started like quickly coming up with like things of like, oh no, like I can't stay. Like I get like, I feel weird. Like I can't even breathe now. Like I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling of like, if someone's like, oh yeah, when we get inside, like we can't leave, or like we can't leave for the rest of the night. Like why would you even bring that up? Like it's like common sense of like, yeah, why would we leave? But like why would you bring that up? Like what's gonna happen? Like it kicked off my anxiety so bad, and I really hated. Y'all, look, I got like a scar right here. I rubbed too hard when I was like exfoliating. I rubbed with a rag, and I feel like I I got a scar now. But anyways, so I started telling her, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to spend the night tonight. And she's like, what? Like all annoyed. And I'm like, yeah, my mom's gonna be picking me up. My mom needs me to do some stuff. And she's like, your mom? And I'm like, because I only told Mr. Peach that, you know, and I'm like, yeah, my mom. And I just like stood my ground. I was like, yeah, my mom. And she's like looking at me, you know, and she starts to even start driving slower. And I'm like, oh, bitch, you got me fucked up. Like, I would get out of this car right now. Like, I start getting like, ugh. I hate when my brain starts getting like that because it's really hard to calm myself down. I start feeling like I can't see the person's face. Like, I honestly start like panicking super bad where it's like everything begins to get like fuzzy. And I feel like I'm going through a tunnel. So I'm like, yeah, like my mom, she's gonna pick me up later today. And yeah, I'm like getting scared, you guys. I freaking hated how like they got me like this. And I'm like, I can't stay because why would I just have to be in my room? She's like, go to your room for the rest of the night. Like, that's so weird. Like, I hated when she would do this, especially when my mom was locked up and I would listen because like it's your house, your rules. But I really hated that feeling because I would always like freak out like, bitch, I can leave. I can leave if I want to, beach. Like, I would get super scared, you guys. Like, it's not like a normal type of scared where you think like, oh, it's no big deal. No, like I would get like petrified, like, oh, they're gonna hurt me, they're gonna do something, I know too much, kind of scared, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Sorry, my OCD is kicking in. I hate when it kicks in like that. But anyways, and so she tells me that she doesn't want me coming and going as I please and stuff, that I need to let them know when my mom's gonna be picking me up, and that she doesn't even believe me. She's like, no te cree, no te cree. Like, I don't believe you, I don't believe you. And I'm like, okay, well, creer, just kidding. I'm like, well, she is. And she's like, okay, well, todavía I still want you up in your room until she gets here. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because no quiero ver. Like, she didn't want to see me. And I was like, but why? Like, I didn't understand. Like, I hated that she just like didn't want to see me. So she's like, go to your room. It was weird. I didn't understand it. Like, even if I was in trouble, it was just like the way she went about it would always like scare me. And it always, I don't know, she had that hold over me of being scared. So I tell her, I'm like, well, my mom's already on her way, so I'm not going to be waiting for her upstairs in the room. And she tells me that, like, oh, guys, I hate that I feel like I can't breathe again. She tells me that I can still wait upstairs until she comes because she doesn't think that she's going to be on her way. So I was like panicking because I was like, how the hell am I going to get my mom to pick me up? Like, oh my God. Like, it was just so stupid because of me just being so scared. But at the same time, I just never knew like what was gonna go on. Like, I trusted them and then I didn't trust them because of how they would act and stuff and how they would move. So I was just like, oh my God. And then half the time I was just being paranoid and I just had to like calm down. But it was just really hard, like I'm telling you, to get out of that like paranoia because I just hated how I would let them have so much power over me when I was scared. Like, it was just stupid. Like, I hated how I couldn't just be like, okay, cool, I'm not gonna work, I'm not gonna have to be babysitting. Psh, say less, bitch. But no, I was like, oh my God, this is it, you know? And I hated it because I shouldn't have been like that. So I text my mom and I tell her, can we go get something to eat? And my mom tells me like, why do I want to talk to her? And I'm like, oh, I can't tell her because then she's gonna be like, just come home. Like, what do you want to do with that? So I'm like, can we like hang out? My mom's like, for what, Jade? You don't even like me. I hate when my mom says that. I hate it. It irks me so much that even my mom says it to this day, where she'd be like, you don't even like me anymore. And I'm like, Mom, like, for real, please stop, because I sound stupid. I'm like, because that makes me angry. But it honestly does. Like, it makes me so stupid angry where I'm just like, Jade, chill the out. Like, it's not that deep. Quit. But I hate when she says it. I don't know why. I just get so angry. Like, why are you saying that? I'm like, can you just stop? But I get so angry when she says it. So I just tell her, I'm like, I just want to hang out and see you. Is that okay? And she's like, I won't be able to get you until like later though. And I'm like, okay, but like for sure. And she's like, yes. And I'm like, how long is later? She tells me that it's gonna be like 30 minutes or so. And I'm like, but for real though, like you're going to actually come? And she's like, yes, baby, don't start. So she starts cussing me out, and I'm like, here we go again. Here we go. But I was just asking her because sometimes my mom would say things and my mom would not come through. I tell Mrs. Peach that, yeah, like my mom's gonna be coming, and she's like, okay, but you can still wait upstairs until she comes because I don't think she's gonna be outside already. Which is like, yeah, I know, and you know, but okay, fine, whatever, bitch. So I go upstairs, like immediately go upstairs, where Mr. Peach is like, hey, ¿qué pasó? And I was like, nada. And he was like, no, ¿qué pasó? Because I'm going straight upstairs. And I tell him, I was like, Mrs. Peach just wants me to go upstairs. And he's like, pero por qué? And I'm like, yo no sé. And he's like, no, dime la verdad. Like, tell me the truth. Like, why are you acting like that? What happened? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I didn't want to be like, because we went to go get a pregnancy test and the bitch got mad, and then we went to go get alcohol and cigarettes, and she'd be acting a little bit funny. But I didn't do that. I was like, I don't know. And so I go upstairs, and behind me, Mrs. Peach is like, she knows what she did. She knows what she did. She knows what she does. Like that. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, bitch. Just because I looked at the clothes, you whore. Okay. I go upstairs and I continuously text my mom, and I'm like, are you for sure coming? My mom's like, yes, Jade, why? What's going on? Something wrong? And I'm like, no, I just want to know, like, are you for sure coming? Because last time you didn't come. And my mom's like, yeah, like, if you need to, just like get to walking since you don't want me to see them, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, she wants me to get to walking so she can see when she wants to be faster. And I'm like, I don't think they're going to let me leave, because I honestly did not think that they're going to, because of how Mrs. Peach was like, you can wait upstairs, you know, type bull. My mom tells me just like to get to walking that she is already getting off the freeway. And I'm like, okay, cool, fine, yeah. And if like they're gonna make a big deal about it, I'm pretty sure Mr. Peach would be like, what's going on, you know? Which I don't know why she was acting like if it was such a big deal. Like, it was so weird where I was like, dude, like, it's not even that deep. Like, just because you got mad because I took too long looking at the clothes. Like, it was just weird. I don't know. Adult Lex tries to analyze it, and all I can think about is just like control. Like, she wanted me to know that, like, when she says now, like now, you know? And I was just, I don't know. I could see it, like, if she caught me and I was like on my phone and like time slipped, but I was like literally like just looking, and I don't know. I don't know. I make my way downstairs and Mrs. Peach is not there. So I'm like, okay, cool, because I don't have to deal with like the weirdness, like at all. Like, cool, cool, cool. So as I'm going downstairs, Mr. Peach catches me. He's like, oh, where are you going? And I was like, oh, my mom's gonna pick me up and we're gonna talk for a little bit. And he's like, oh, qué bueno, qué bueno. Like, he's like, okay, good, good, you know, that's good, that's good. And I was like, yeah. He asks me, she's already outside. I was like, no, she wants me to walk to the gas station. And he's like, oh, I'll take you. And I'm like, no, está bien. And I'm like trying to hurry up because I don't want Mrs. Peach to come and be like, no, te dije que, because I was really scared. I was really scared she's gonna be like, nope, get your ass back upstairs, you know? And I just didn't want that. So as I'm like rushing to like go out, Mrs. Peach comes downstairs and she's like, And so I'm like scared, y'all. Like, I hated how this woman did get me scared. And it mostly, I think it was just like me allowing them to see that I was scared. So like they played on that too, you know? So she's like, where are you going? And I was like, oh, my mom's here. She's like, afuera. And I was like, no, she wants me to walk to the gas station. She's like, you're gonna stay here until she gets here. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go and go to the gas station like my mom said. And she's like, what did I say? And I was like, I heard you, pero I'm gonna go where my mom told me to go. And she's like, I don't believe you're going with your mom, Alexis. And I was like, okay, but I am. And she just kept fighting with me back and forth. Mr. Peach tells her to stop acting ridiculous, that he's gonna take me to the gas station. And she's like, no, you're not. And he's like, ¿Qué traes? Like, ¿Qué tienes? He keeps telling her, like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on? And she is like, no, like, she's lying. She's lying. And right away, I was like, oh, this bitch is playing it the up, because if I do tell him about the pregnancy test, she's going to be like, she's lying. She's lying. So, but I was like, okay, I see you, bitch. And then I was like, maybe you're just thinking too much, Alexis. Maybe. So he gets his keys and he kind of like walks behind me, like pushes me towards the door. He's like, come on, let's go. And she's like, I don't want her to come back. I don't want her to come back. And he's like, looks at her and he's like, yeah, relax then. Like, to go take a drink or something, to drink something. That like, what is going on? Like, why is she acting like this? And she's like, no, no. Like, she's like trying to go off. And he like literally closes the door where he's like, bitch, bye. Ain't nobody got time for you. Like, what is going on with you? Which is like, yeah, same. Don't know what curled up her butthole. I get in the car and I text my mom. Okay, I'm already on my way. My mom tells me that she's already at the gas station. That she already told me that she was getting off the freeway. Why do I play these games? And I'm like, I'm not playing any games, mother. I just had to let them know where I was going. She's like, why? When I tell you to be somewhere, you be there. I don't give a who tells you what, you leave. And so she's giving me this whole speech. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm fighting with you crazy women all the time. Where it's like, if it's not my mom, it's them, you know? So I was like, okay, mom. And she was like upset having to wait on me, you know, which, okay, whatever. I get to a certain extent. So as we're driving there, Mr. Peach asks me like what happened, that like, why was she so upset, Mrs. Peach? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, tú sabes. Like, yeah, you know. And I tell him that I asked her if I could look at the clothes and I took too long. And he starts to kind of chuckle because he's like, así está loquita. That like, yeah, she is crazy like that. That she doesn't like waiting on anybody and stuff. And that she doesn't have patience and everything. That she's just a little loquita, you know, that like, oh, she'll get over it. Not to get in my feelings about it. That she's just been kind of like, you know, on one lately. She's just stressed out with like everything. And I'm like, yeah, you know, so I'm being pregnant. I don't know why I did it. And he's like, ¿qué dijiste? And I'm like, oh yeah, Mrs. Peach told me that Sam is pregnant. And he's like, and when did she tell you this? Like, he was mad. Why do you do these things, Lex? I don't know. What's wrong with you? I don't know. Why? Like, the whole time I'm like kicking my feet like a little bitch. Cause like, I'm like, oh my God. But I don't know. I don't know. And I know she knows. I don't know. But I freaking stirred the damn pot. I sure mother did. He's like, when did she tell you this? And I was like, oh, she told me last night. He's like, ¿cuándo? And I was like, when she was taking off her makeup when you told me to go upstairs when you yelled at me. And he was like, no, está loca. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's not pregnant. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, did you hear me? And I was like, yeah, she's not pregnant. And he's like, she's just making up lies. Like, no sé qué tiene, este pinche vieja. And I'm just like, dude, shut the f up. She's pregnant, but it's okay, you know? And I was like, so, like, is she coming back soon? He's like, oh, no quiero hablar de ella. And he doesn't want to talk about her. And I'm like, okay. Because, like, stop, you know? So I tell him, like, can you please not tell her I told you? And he just tells me like, that why? And I'm like, because I don't want to get yelled at by her again. And he just kind of laughs and he's like, okay, that if I was going to come later that night or if I was going to stay at my mom's. And I was like, I don't know. And I think he kind of was like being nice because he seen my mom and my mom looked mean. My mom was just like, you know, like mean. And he kind of just looks at me. He's like, call me if you need me to come get you. And that's why I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe you're not all that bad. You do have some bad traits. You're not the nicest at times. And you're a little... But all that aside, yeah, you know? So I tell him, like, I'll let you know. And he's like, okay. He takes off. And I go to my mom. And my mom is, like, super duper annoyed. Super duper annoyed because she had to wait. And I think in total she had to probably wait like 15 minutes, which I guess that would annoy anybody. I was just like up everyone's time. I don't know why. Oops, I just was. So we get in the car. My mom is just like, what were you doing? And I was like explaining to her like, oh, I was just letting them know. And I was like putting the kids to sleep, you know, just making up stuff because I'm pretty sure if I told my mom like, oh, because she was acting crazy, she was saying this, my mom was going to be like, what the heck? But I always had to like pick and choose because my mom was so like out of it in that conversation. She kept like nodding off. And at the time I didn't understand like why or what. But as I got older, I was like, that's what it was. Because I swore all my mama did was just weep. And when I would tell like my husband or when I would talk to my friends and stuff, and then it'd be like, why don't you want to try that? I'm like, because I asked my mom like this, and they'd be like, girl, that's not what you like about. Yeah, that's what she said she did, and that's what it was. Like, I was just really stupid, right? So she was just kind of like nodding in and out, and we had to go run errands. And so she was asking me that if like I was gonna be okay with errands, or if I was gonna start my bitching and complaining, because I would start my bitching and complaining when we would go run errands, because I hated my mom's errands. And my mom just hated hearing me complain. Like, my mom hated that like I would complain about her errands, because I didn't like doing them. I didn't like the people she was around. Like, I really hated these stupid ass errands, because they were just dumb. Like, they were just so stupid, and it was just dumb, you guys. Like, honestly, I had no business going on these errands, and I am so glad that I didn't participate in these errands, or when my mom would be like cool with it if I were to, because I feel like I would have been so lost like a few people. And I'm just so glad that I never did. I'm so glad that like I was scared, because can y'all imagine? Yeah, no, let's not, because you're not going to speak that in. So as my mom's running her errands, I'm like talking to Joe. I'm not telling him about Sam, but he keeps like asking like, oh, any update, any update, any update? And I'm like, no, what the hell? And he said that it's because like he was talking to his parents, and they're like, oh yeah, like they told us the same thing, that like she's just here, she's just there, that like nothing's adding up. And so I guess everyone's now invested in it. And I'm like, Joe, like don't talk about it, because then it's gonna seem like I'm just being a gossiper, and I'm already running on thin ice with them. And he's just like, my bad, all right, I'll stop. And I asked him like, so what did you do when I left yesterday? And he was like, oh, I was so sad because you had to leave. Like, I wish you could have stayed. Like, I wish we could, you know, spend more time. Like, he's like saying all the right things, you know. And I'm like, okay, Joe, stop. But then I want to hear about it. And I'm like, no, like what happened with, you know, that girl? Because I'm referring to who? Yasmin. I want to know what she did when I wasn't there. Because even though I had no right, I was still kind of like, what happened? What did y'all do? He tries to be cute and tell me like, oh, there's nothing you gotta worry about. I'm only yours, only yours. I made that loud and clear last night, that I'm only yours. And I was like gushing, but like, I knew it was too true. I was like, you're stupid. I was like, yeah, right. You're probably hella making out with Jasmine. You're probably showing her a good time. Like, don't play with me. And you know what this dumbass said? You want to know what this dumbass said? I'll let you just like, just comment what you think this dumbass said. Okay? As he's like telling me like, oh, I like you. I love you. I want to see you. Tell me what you think this dumbass said. Yeah, I f***ed her, but I don't mean nothing. I was just like taken back. Like, I was just like why, Lex? Like, why do you think that this dude is like smart? Like, why? Like, I was baffled. I was just like, what? Like, I was like, there's no way he's this stupid. Like, there's just like no way that he is like literally still trying to talk to me. And he literally just told me that. Like, I was just like, no. Like, I honestly was just like, my jaw's on the floor. Someone pick it up. So me, stupid, I'm like, let's go a little bit further. Let's see how real stupid you are, dude. So I was like, no way. And I was like, you guys have before or that night? And he just writes back, that night. I just stopped texting for like a good couple of minutes, because I'm just like, please someone hacked his phone. Please someone hacked his phone. Please someone like have his phone right now. Please. So then this dumbass calls me, because where I wasn't replying, he probably was like, oh, her thumbs probably hurt. Let me message her just to make it easier for her. Like, her thumbs probably hurt. So he calls me and he's like, so why aren't you messaging me back? And I'm like, for what? And he gets upset and he's like, why are you mad? Like, I even told you, like, I want to have fun as long as we come back to each other. And I tell him, I don't know why I'm even tripping. Like, I don't even want you. And he's like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. It just hurts to admit. And I'm like, no, I don't even want you. Like, for real? I was on real. I don't want you. Like, I'm like mad, hurt, because I'm like, like, what did you think, Lex? Like, honestly, what did you think? What did you think? And that's the thing. I was just like, why? Like, why can't he say like cute and like mean it and not be disgusting? Like, why? Like, why can't he mean what he says and be like, oh yeah, like I really like you, blah, 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 and not be a douchebag? So before I could like process like all my emotions, my mom comes back and me and her are talking. She's asking me like, why do I have an attitude? And I kind of just tried to play it off and be like, oh, I'm just hungry. So we end up going to Denny's, my mom's favorite spot to eat at. And I hate the food there, but I just go because of my mom. So we're just eating and trying to like talk, and it's just so weird, the relationship me and my mom have, because we can either be really, really good. There's not really a middle that we have. We try, but there's not really a middle, and it's just kind of hard to like talk to my mom sometimes when I'm just so angry. And she sees it, but she expects me to be like on my best behavior with her and be like very respectful, and at the same time be super duper understanding. So she's telling me that I'm gonna stay the night with her, and I don't even fight it. I'm just like, okay, because at this point I don't even want to go back to the Peaches until like the next day, because I don't want to walk in and Mrs. Peach is like mad at me of like, why did you say anything? Because I have a feeling Mr. Peach is gonna say something. So we end up eating, and it was really good, cool. It was just kind of like kind of conversation, especially because my mom likes to go down the memory lane of like what happened between me and my stepdad, and just always acts like it's the first time I'm telling her, which is so like annoying. But my mom's therapist would tell her that my mom's brain protected herself from hearing it from the first time, so that every time that I would tell my mom, it was like I was telling her for the first time, which to me, bull. And I guess I just didn't like my mom's therapist because it just felt like this person was excusing my mother's behavior so much, where I feel like maybe she did feel for my mother, but she needed to understand that my mom had kids and there's a certain way to move. Or maybe my mom just picked and choose what she wanted to share, what her therapist said. So when my mom would ask me, so what happened again, I would get infuriated, and I would get so pissed off of like, how come you only can remember when it's convenient to you, or how come this, or how come that? And I really just hated how it was just so bad, and it made me so mad. So I got to the point of like, I wrote down every single detail and was like, here, so when you need a reminder, you could just read it. And then my mom would be like, no, I can't reread it past a certain time. It was just so much, and I just felt like, why, like, for what, and it was just irritated me. So we went back to Tammy's house, and Tommy was still kind of like annoyed with how I left. And speaking of Tommy, someone left me a comment and said, it's like, Tommy never heard, when you want something done, you do it right. You want something done right, you do it yourself. But hey, I mean, everything she did for you, you didn't feel like you wanted to help her back. I did help Tommy back. I did. I watched her kids, I cleaned her house, I did lots of things. There's lots of things that I don't mention, not because like I want to be like, oh, this and that. I just feel like I did. I feel like I did more than enough when it came to helping Tommy out. I was more than enough respectful. When her kids would wake up at night and when I would stay over, I would like get up with them. Okay, if they asked me, I was never like, no, I'm not gonna do that for you, or no, I'm not gonna help out. My mom's always taught us, like, if the house is dirty and we're staying somewhere, then you pick up after yourself and more. The reason why you're probably saying this is because how I didn't want to clean up the mess when Tommy's kids were making it and stuff like that, is because I was just pissed off how they kept running their errands. Even though, yeah, Tommy has been like good to me and would help me sometimes, at that moment I was just pissed off because it was more towards my mother. But for the most part, I feel like I've always been kind of like respectful-ish to Tommy to a certain extent. But whenever I would stay at her house or anything like that, then yeah, like I would pick up after myself and I would show her some respect. But I feel like the respect that Tommy probably wanted was a little bit too much, to the point where she probably wanted to treat me like her maid. Tommy was upset when I got there because of like how we left things, and how she was upset because she didn't like how my mom got out and they were running errands and doing stuff, and it set her back on some things that she had to do, and she wanted to play catch up when I was there, and I didn't. It was kind of like not my fault, but I don't know what my mom promised her. So yeah, anyways, so we ended up staying the night at Tommy's. My mom had like her own little setup and stuff, and I just knocked out. I just knocked out because I was just already at that point of like, whatever. I checked in with the Peaches before I did though, to let them know. Mr. Peach wrote back quick and just told me that, okay, that if I needed right in the morning, just to let me know, and he hoped everything went well. He was just being super nice and super understanding, which was just freaking awesome. So I ended up waking up in the middle of the night because I could hear laughter, and it was my mom and Tommy, and then we were getting super, super drunk in the sala, at the living room, and they were having a good time. So I wake up and I'm like, okay, I want to go out there. I go out there and everyone is just drinking, smoking, all of that. So there's some people that I recognize that my mom used to hang out with before. So I go and kind of just like mingle a little bit. They're like, oh my God, Alexis, you're here. You look so nice. And like being super, super, super nice to me. They've always complimented me, always been really sweet. So I go out there and we just sit there and we chill. They kind of catch up with me, like what I've been up to, what I've been doing, all of that. And we go to the gas station to go and get some more beer. I tag along. Me and my mom are getting along because I feel like we were just getting along. So my mom's like in a really, really good mood. She asks me if I want to hang out with anybody or have anyone come over. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And my mom tells me that she's going to run to the store and she's going to go do an errand real quick. And I'm like, okay. Like I get annoyed because I'm like, oh my God, we were having such a good time. And now you're going to go run an errand. So an hour passes. My mom comes back. And my mom comes back with some people that I don't. Okay. And I am fuming. So I'm mad because my mom's like, Lex, I got a surprise for you. Come out. I'm like, okay. So I come out and it's my ex. Two girls that I do not like, and I have told my mom this like repeatedly. I don't like these girls, but my mom thought like, oh, I'm gonna show them how cool you are, so maybe they'll like you. That's not how it works. And another boy, and we will name him Smiles because he was always super stoned. So we had my ex, the two girls, Smiles. So that already looks like everyone already has their person, right? And like I'm like the fifth wheel. So I come out and I'm like looking kind of like ruggedy, right? And my mom's like, oh, like I picked them up, blah, 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 blah. My mom was trying, but she missed the mark. She missed the mark. And it just like annoyed me super duper bad because I hated these girls. Like I literally hated these girls. Like I hated them. Even when they tried to reach out to me when I started doing YouTube, and it was like, for what? Like, you know, I don't like you, like at all. Like I don't understand what is wrong with you guys. Like it just felt like a sick, twisted joke. So my mom tells me to invite them to the room and stuff. And my mom didn't let us drink. My mom didn't let us get high or anything like that. My mom was just like, oh, like go hang out, which was just weird because we were all just staring at each other. And for what? Like for what? So back in the day when Walmart was 24/7, that's where like we would go like and chill, right? So my mom lets us hang out for a little bit. We're literally just like staring at each other. The ex is like pissed off at me. So he starts flirting with one of the girls. One named her Rebecca, one named the other one Tori, okay? Because Tori was like Dory and she always forgot everything. So Tori was just some bitch that I just could not stand, and she was really rude. Really rude, probably because she was dealing with her own demons, but she was just straight bitch. Rebecca and the ex are literally flirting in front of me, literally. And she even tells him like, go sit next to your girlfriend, and he's like, no, I don't want to. Like flirting with her. And I wish this stayed up. I was so annoyed. I was texting my mom like, can you just take them home? My mom tells me like, why? Like I try to do something nice for you and this is how you act, blah, 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 blah. So my mom calls them all out. Okay, she calls all of them out. She calls the ex, she calls Rebecca, she calls Tori, and she calls Smiles and tells them to get out of the room, that I don't want to see them. And that just kind of puts me in the hot spot. So I'm like pissed because I'm like, what the you gained from this? Like honestly, it's like she took it as like I'm throwing a bitch fit, so I'm just gonna call them out. And like it was just infuriating. So she calls them all out. He looks at me ugly. And I'm just looking at him like, wow, like you're a piece of shit. He's literally flirting with Rebecca, and me and him are like dogging each other out, and I'm like so hurt, so pissed off. And I'm like, maybe this is my karma for flirting with Joe. Like maybe this is my karma. Maybe Jasmine told him, maybe this is my karma, yada yada yada, right? I'm like pissed because I'm like, how is this okay? Like how is this okay? And I'm pissed. I want to fight with my mom. Like, why do you think this is okay? Like I constantly told her I did not like Rebecca and Tori, and she kept bringing those bitches around, like if I wanted to be around them, and kind of just felt like my mom was just like wanted to be part of the bullying, and I just didn't understand. Even when I bring it up to her, she's like, I don't know, Jada, I don't know what I was thinking. And I wish she did, because it was so annoying having these bitches smile up in my face and see the type of relationship me and you had, and they got to see like our living conditions and just how everything was, and it was just like really embarrassing to have that display. So I sit in the room and I'm just fuming. I'm like pissed. I don't know how to navigate through these emotions, these feelings. So I journal. A lot of the times I don't bring up when I journal because I just feel like it's just, I don't know, like it's really hard to give like every single detail of like what I'm doing. I don't know. So I journal. A lot of the times when I go to the restroom, I shower, I journal. A lot of times at night before I go to sleep, I journal along with praying. I'm huge on praying. So I start journaling. My mom comes in. My mom's really pissed off that I am ignoring them, that what kind of hosted I am, and that like, why do I act like that? She tries to do something nice and look act. So I tell her to please close the door, and I close my journal. My mom tells me like, oh my god, here we go with that, because my mom would read my diary a lot, and she would add her little entries, and she would apologize in there, or she would tell me like, why do you keep like reliving this moment, why do you keep talking about this, why you keep talking about that, or it would make my mom feel really horrible. So I tell her like, why did you even bring Rebecca and Tori? My mom's telling me that like, cause like they do like you, like every time like I, you know, talk to them, they tell me that, yeah, I'm like, of course, they're not gonna be like, yeah, your daughter, she's a weirdo, she's a bitch, like she's weird. I was like, her and wow, I said the name. Her and the ex are just like talking, and it's just so weird. Like she's like, well, that's something you gotta take up with him, like he's the one. And I'm like, I get that, I just don't know why she's here, why they're here, like please go take them home. So I'm like pleading with my mom, like please take them home. My mom's like, I don't want to make them feel weird. I'm like, well, what the me? My mom tells me that she's gonna take us to Walmart, because back in the day it was 24/7. She's gonna take us to Walmart, get some snacks, we can come back, we can like hang out a little bit, and then she'll take them. And I'm like, oh my god, okay. So we go to Walmart. I sit in the front, okay? These bitches are laughing. Who do you think Rebecca sits on? Yeah. So we go to the store, and I'm literally just walking with my mom while the four of them are laughing giddy in the back. You know how stupid, uncomfortable that is? Do you know how uncomfortable that is? And who's to blame? My mother. So I am pissed. I feel so weird. I have anxiety. Times 10. Times 10. Okay? My mom is like over there talking to the ex, like, how come you're not talking to Alexis? Like, what's going on? You guys not fighting? No, she doesn't want to talk to me. Of course he's not gonna sit there and be like, because I'm a piece of shit. Of course he's not going to. So I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. I end up going to the ice cream area because I'm gonna give me some ice cream. Rebecca is like, oh, I want ice cream too. I love ice cream. Me too. Can I get ice cream? Yeah? I can get ice cream and snacks? Okay, thanks. So she gets the ice cream. She asks me like, what do you like, Alexis? Of course, being super nice in front of my mama. And I'm like, I like this one. And she's like, you know, you are so pretty. Like, you did not deserve him. Like, he's a piece of shit. I'm like, thanks. And she's trying to give me a little pep talk of like, yeah, you know, I'm just looking out for you, and I'm just gonna tell you, like, girl to girl, like, he has been messaging me, and like, these are the things he sends me, like, if you want to see, like, this is what he sends me. And she's literally showing me, and he walks in the aisle, and he looks at her, looks at me, and she's like,
yeah, I'm showing her. Yeah. So this is what he sent me. He's like constantly calling me and stuff. I'm like, but we're talking about you though. Like the whole time we're talking about you.
I wish I could go back in time and just right in the face, because just right in the face, and then go over there to him and just spit on him. Just spit on him. So I just feel so stupid, and she's just like laughing. Tori is like,
you would want to know, right? Like I told her to tell you. I told her to tell you since like the last week they were hanging out. I told her to tell you.
And it's just like, I'm holding my ice cream. Like, well, thanks for telling me. Yeah, I know he's a piece of... My eyes are like watering because like I'm so hurt. My mom's screaming from the end of the aisle like, are you guys done yet? Let's go. And Rebecca asks me like,
if you want, you could just tell your mom to take us home. Like, she keeps like bringing us around and stuff.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, like maybe, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe you guys should go home. My body is just like, dun, 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 dun. You know how bad I wanted to just leave them there? You know how bad? I just wanted to be like, or just leave me, just leave me, please. Like, it was just so awkward. Smiles is just laughing because he's just like, ding, like that's some girl code right there. And I'm just like, shut the f up. Like, do you even know what that means, you stupid dumb bitch? Do you? Okay. So I walk towards my mom, and the ex like finally grabs me like, hey, can we talk? I was like, no, like I hate you, like I hate you.
Okay, cool. Remember that. Too.
Like, if he was in the wrong. So we're checking out, getting the snacks, and I am pissed because I am the whole time thinking like, why does my mom keep feeding my bullies and wants my bullies to be around? Like my stepdad, this piece of shit. Like, it's just so, it's so weird. I have so much anger, and I start to like cry, but not even the sense of like cry, like just cry. Like the tears are just coming down. Like I just can't help it. My nose gets all like, I get mocos y todo, and it's just like, my mom looks at me like, why are you crying? And I tell her, like, I hate them. Like, I literally hate them. Like, why are you doing this? My mom's telling me, oh my God, Alexa, should I do something nice for you? And I'm like, no. Like, instead of, like, you calling on, like, on the people that, like, I do hang out, like, my real friends, even though Skillet was a bitch, why aren't you calling them? And my mom's like, because I can't stand them, mother. But I can. Those are people that I actually, even though we have beef with, like, I can. Like, I can. It just hurt. I'm pissed now, like, even thinking about how stupid I felt. And again, I sit in the front, the ex is in the back, Rebecca's sitting on top of him, and they're just like smiling. And I literally just always have constantly felt like the odd one out. Like, I just didn't fit in. It's just so weird. And I just wanted to run away. Like, why is this weird happening to me? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how, like, this is my weird ass up storyline. Weird. So my mom asks me in front of all of them, like, you want me to just take them home? Because she has attitude because, oh, I'm ungrateful. And I'm like, yeah, please. And Rebecca's like, oh, Alexis, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I know I probably ruined the night. Like, so fake. So we drop her off. We drop her and Tori both off. And then she asks the ex and smiles like, do you guys want to just, like, chill with us? And, like, my mom can probably take you later. And my mom looks at the ex through the rearview mirror, and he's like, no, I'm good. But you could tell he was like, yes, I want you. So smiles and the ex end up staying in the car. My mom ends up taking them next, and he's like texting me, oh, it's just a misunderstanding. Anytime I talk to any of these girls, I'm talking about you. And that's what his excuse was. Every single time, even when I got locked up for a little bit, that was his excuse. I had all these bitches come to me like, oh my God, he was like messaging me, but like all we talked about was you. So stupid. Like, so stupid. Like, why are you even talking to them at all? Like, that's so weird. Like, you are stupid. Okay, all right. And it was just so weird. Like, how do I, like, oh, thanks. Like, yeah, he was like so worried about me for those few months. Like, oh my God, I was like locked up. Yeah. I didn't know how to, like, what do I do? So we drop him off, and he tries to, like, open the door, and I literally just, like, lock it, and Smile starts laughing. And I just look at my mom, I'm like, can we just go? And she's just, okay, Alexis, okay. You see, I try, and I try, and I get, like, this whole speech, and I save it up until we get on the freeway, because up until the freeway, the freaking water in my mind, I guess, was just boiling, and then it just, and I just start going off on my mom, and I start going off on her, and I start crying because I keep telling her that she just keeps hurting me. Like, I don't like those girls. I don't like them. Like, I don't understand why she does this, because this isn't the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, the ninth, the 10th time that she has people around me that I do not like. I just don't understand it. Especially she would bring Rebecca and she would bring Tori. I don't understand. She would give these bitches things of mine because she's like, oh, I never see you wear them. Because I'm never home, Ma. Because I'm never home. But it doesn't mean you give away. I don't understand. So it wasn't like if it was the very first time and I'm just acting out and like, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't understand. I literally would come home and tell my mom about these girls being bitches to me. And instead of my mom being like, yeah, f them bitches, she took it upon herself of like, let's hang out with these bitches. Come home. I would tell her about Skillet. I would tell her about Biscuit. And I would tell her about those friends. But not once would she really want them around. Not until like I finally started like doing crazy things. My mom was just like, you know what? Let's keep those ones around a little bit. Like they kind of help Lex out a little bit. So I'm like screaming at her. She's driving fast. She's driving crazy. She's yelling back at me. I'm pissed. And I'm just telling her that like she is such a terrible mom. And that's what really hurt her, is me telling her that she is such a terrible mom. We get off the freeway. We get off the car. As we're going upstairs, she tells me, you know what, Alexis, since I'm so horrible, then I'm just going to stay the f away from you. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's because that's what you do best. There's nothing left to do. Like, I'm exhausted. The friends were still there in the sala. Tommy was still there. But it was just like, yeah, no. Like, I didn't understand. Tommy's upset because I'm not excited that those bitches were here. It's like no one ever listened. They only wanted to do what was out of convenience for them, or they didn't even really try. It's like telling someone so much like, oh, I hate having peanuts. Like, oh, those are just so gross. Yeah, I hate it. And then taking them to Texas Roadhouse and then that bucket of peanuts there and be like, look, your favorite. I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. Someone telling you like, yeah, I hate roses. I prefer like sunflowers, daisies, tulips when someone gives me something, and then you give them a bouquet for roses. Like, are you not listening? Like, are you not listening? Telling someone that like, oh, I hate scary movies. They really ruin my freaking mood. Like, they make me so scared, so anxious. And then you getting movie tickets to go see Scream or Halloween. Like, you're missing it. You're missing it. Like, what are you doing? Are you just not listening and you just hear roses? Oh yeah, she must like roses. Oh, scary movies. She likes scary movies. Okay, cool. You're missing it. And you're missing it. So I wake up before anybody. Everybody is still snoring. Everyone's just out. And I text Mr. Peach like, hey, if you could come pick me up, I could like watch the kids today. He says like just to give him a minute, that he's out running errands and that he probably could in a few hours. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. I see Joe has called me like 2 times, and I pick up the phone and I'm going to text Joe. As soon as I go to text Joe, the X message is, I love you. And I'm just like thrown off because I'm like, what? And it takes my brain a minute to be like, no, Jade, we're mad. Do you not remember Rebecca? I really hated how quick my brain would forget, and like I would have to like remind myself. And having a diary is so helpful with that, because I feel like a lot of the times we forget how someone could be so hateful towards us unless we like either have something to trigger that memory. Because I feel like for me, a lot of the times I would forget how people treated me, and then I would read back, or I would go through like my text messages and I'd be like, huh, I forgot. Or if someone would spark a memory for me, I'd be like, oh my god, oh yeah, I totally forgot, bitch. Like, I hate it. I would hate it. And so I like was like, what? And like I had to like remind myself like, oh yeah, we're mad at that piece. So I still dial, and Joe immediately answers, and he's like, hey, like, can I talk to you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, what's up, Joe? And he's like asking me like, well, first, like, how did you sleep? And he's like being like super nice, like, how did you sleep and all that? And I was like, oh, great. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Crazy. And he just hits me with like the question, Sam's pregnant. And I'm like, yeah, like, I know. He's like, how do you know? And I was like, oh, long story, but like, yeah, I know, like, what's up? And he asks me like, do you know who the dad is? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, you know, I'm thinking like church boys. I'm thinking ex. Okay. I'm thinking about like other friends that like we have hung out with that like are irrelevant people like at the Peaches parties. And I'm like, oh, you know, I don't really know. And I'm like, why? And then he like just starts like breathing really hard. And then he's like, can I talk to you in person? And I'm like, Joe, did you sleep with Sam? And he is just like so quiet. So quiet. And then he tells me like, sex is just sex, Alexis. Like, it's nothing, like, it's just, and I just hang up. Cause I'm just like, are you serious? Are you being for real right now? Are you so for real right now? So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. I love you guys so much. Besos a todos. I'll see you guys in my next video. I love you guys. Besos, besos, besos. If you guys enjoy story times, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below so that YouTube knows to push these videos out to you. I love you guys. Te quiero mucho, and I'll see you guys in my next story time. Bye.